Welcome back to the Midweek Breakdown. All right, guys, April Fool's is over. That was all yesterday. We will touch on it a little bit, but no practical jokes on the show today. Fair?
I hate April
I
Fool's.
guess.
Fine with me.
I do too. Nothing but the pretty girls dancing this weekend in the NCAA men's tournament. We'll talk about that coming up in a bit. First, we want to hit, well, no pun intended, but softball. We talked a little bit about them last week, along with men's baseball with our friend Tom Travis. Kicking the show off today with some softball. B, it looked a little shaky this week from times I got to glance in. What's going on with the girls right now?
Yeah, they came in to the day 30-1 on Friday. Friday was a little rough. I mean, so I got something that pisses Brandon off. I'm just going to start with it right here.
I missed this segment. I just was saying earlier, we need football back. This is why.
Carlin Pickens, the pitcher for Tennessee. There's been this huge hubbub this week last week, I guess, about her throwing the fastest pitch in college softball history, which was 78.2 miles an hour.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, but it was such a bad pitch that the catcher stood up and couldn't even catch it. How the hell does that count? It was so far over the catcher's head. The catcher stood up, reached up, but they've been making this huge deal about it. Now, that being said, Pickens.
What's the fastest pitch that was an actual strike? Do we have that data?
I think it was like 77.8.
Okay, got it.
Miles an hour.
That's funny.
And so she beat it by 0.4 miles an hour. But on a pitch that wasn't close to the strike zone, I mean, the umpire couldn't have jumped and it hit him. That's how bad it was. But she comes in, she has an absolute hell of a weekend. She has a great weekend. Gets the win on Friday, 5-2. Oklahoma scores 8 runs, has 8 hits, only scores 2 runs. Left a lot of batters on base. That was Friday night. Saturday, Oklahoma comes out, plays a really good game. Kirsten Dill gets the win. Kirsten Dill is 7-0 now, puts Oklahoma to 31-2 after the loss on Friday night. So you think, okay, we're starting to get this. We only had 5 hits, but we didn't even have to play the bottom of the 7th. So after the top of 7, we were up 4-1, game over, right? Then you come into Sunday. Sunday was a battle. And as you would guess, Carlin Pickens got the start with her backstop denting pitch that I can't help it. I'm sorry. It drove me crazy listening to them talk about that all weekend. And then they show the pitch, and it's not even close to the strike zone. Like it wouldn't have been a strike on Shaq. Like,
this is like them saying like, oh, this is the longest pass ever, and it's like thrown 10 yards past the receiver, incomplete. Like, who cares?
Right. Someone throws it from the 30, 5 rows deep in the end zone. He just threw the 50 or 5 rows deep in the stands. He just threw the longest. Get out of here. Like, that's crazy. But Sunday, we get to the 3rd inning, bases loaded. Cassidy Pickering up to bat, hits a ripped double to the left center gap over the outstretched arm of the center fielder diving, clears the bases. We go up 3-0. We're like, okay, we got this. Sam Landry has gone 9 up, 9 down. No hits through 3 innings, barely even people touching the ball and putting it in play. And then everything falls apart in the bottom of the 5th. In the bottom of the 5th, she gives up 3 hits, a home run. She has like 2 or 3 walks, and Tennessee scores 5, and no one scored the rest of the game. The game on Sunday also ended a streak for Cassidy Pickering, who has been on fire as of late, but ended this streak. She had reached base. Not all hits, but she had reached base on 15 consecutive plate appearances. Couple of doubles, couple of hits, couple of home runs, some walks, but 15 straight plate appearances she had reached base. she's leading the Sooners in batting average right now. But it is absolutely crazy how well she has been playing. Oklahoma played last night and ended up with a run rule in the 4th inning against UT Arlington. That's just how it happens. I mean, UT Arlington, and it's crazy watching the game. I mean, the wind was blowing so crazy. Like if you hit a pop fly or you fouled one up and a catcher normally catches it or a third baseman catches it and foul, there's no chance. The winds are blowing 25 to 45 miles an hour in that game. So pitches were crazy. Oklahoma was actually getting back on track with their bats after facing Carlin Pickens. We go a few games before we play another SEC tournament or an SEC game. So played University of Arlington last night, got the win. We play at home. We have 2 games first one versus St. Thomas, second one versus UCF on Friday. And then on Saturday, we play UCF again at 12:30. And then then we play an actual state matchup coming up next week on the 9th with Oklahoma State. So we kept that series kind of going. Head coach Kenny Gillespie bringing the girls or staying home with the girls, and we're going to Stillwater to play them. But then we don't play another SEC game until next weekend, and it's Alabama. So Alabama's tough too. So much good stuff going on in softball, and teams or players are playing great. The game last night, several of our veterans didn't play. Ella Parker, who's normally our designated hitter, designated player, they call it in college, didn't play. Sid Sanders became the designated player. They put 3 freshmen in that don't normally get in, one at first, one at right field, one behind the plate, and Corey Hicks. And so Oklahoma softball lost their first series at home since 2006.
Wow.
Since 2006. So almost 20 years. It had been 19 years since Oklahoma lost a series at home. Not a game, but a series. And so, they talked to Patty Gasso afterwards, and she's like, look, she wouldn't say a rebuilding year, but we're in a coaching year, is what she said. We're in a coaching year that we haven't had to be in a while because we did graduate and lose so many seniors and so many upperclassmen. But we're going to be fine. I see this team probably making the tournament. I don't think it's going to be an issue to make the tournament. Whether they get to the College World Series or not, I don't know. They're going to have to probably go on the road at some point in the playoffs before the College World Series to win a regional or a double regional or a super regional, regional or a super regional. It's probably going to be on the road, might get a regional at home. But I see this team making it to the playoffs. I just don't know how far they can get after that. Pitching has been good, not what we're used to, though. Hitting has been good, not what we're used to, though. Coaching, it's Natty Patty, so you can't blame a lot on her. There was one of the games this weekend that I believe it was the game on Saturday. No, it was the game Friday night where we had a chance to actually tie the game up, and we sent a runner in the 5th inning on a short kind of line drive to right field. Oh, we sent Hannah Core to the plate, round and third, and she was hosed by a long ways to make the first out at home plate, which you don't ever make the first out or the third out at home plate. So making the first out at home plate right there, next 2 batters struck out. One struck out, one popped out, I believe. But, I mean, if you saved her, that pop fly that was to center field might have scored that run to tie it up. Now Tennessee ends up scoring 3 in the 8th to win the game off of Sophia Nugent, who is an actual transfer from Oklahoma. Sophia Nugent transfers to Tennessee because she didn't want to sit behind Kinsey Hansen, who was our 3-time All-American catcher that graduated last year. she hits a bomb in the 8th inning. Not to walk it off because it's the top of the inning, but basically to walk it off. So that being said, Oklahoma softball is alive and well. Using this next few games to kind of get back on track. We'll see where things go from there.
I think the Bedlam series is going to be played at Hall of Fame too, which would be good for the girls. Yeah,
makes sense. Yeah.
Oh, I think you're right. I do remember them saying that. It says at Oklahoma State, but it's just they're just the second team in the thing, so they're probably going to be considered the home team.
It'll be in the last dugout.
It'll be a home game for Oklahoma. Oklahoma fans will travel well downtown, and there'll be a lot of crimson there, as there has been the last 4 College World Series. So
yeah, no doubt.
I saw a post. I guess it was after that Friday game. It said, "This is disgraceful. It's time to get rid of Patty and her son. Get them both out of there now." But then a laughing emoji, clearly just making fun of football fans.
Dude, I mean, you know, in the moment, I was pissed. I'm not gonna lie. In the moment when she sent Hannah Core and she got hosed to make that out at home plate, in the moment, I thought, this is ridiculous. Why do you do that? But I mean, this is going to sound sacrilegious, but do you question God? Like when it comes to college softball, Patty Gasso has been God for a while. You can't question that. So as much as I do in the moment, because you guys have both watched sports with me and see how fired up I get in the moment, you got to look back on it and be like, okay, we're not hurting. We have great coaches. She writes her own ticket. So Natty Patty is here to stay. May not be this year, but we'll be back soon.
Moving on to basketball, not one single Cinderella making it to San Antonio this Saturday. Auburn, Florida, Duke, and Houston. That can consume all your time on Saturday. I know it will around here. You know, this is kind of like I just went back and revisited my hometown in southern Oklahoma. And one of those things, you know, you remember it one way. Most of the time I spent there, I was a kid. So the place had this sense of size in my head. And I went back and I was like, man, everything was like 6 inches apart now. That's what it feels like. It's so small. And I remember March Madness feeling like it went 2 months long. And this time it felt like it went about a week. Did it feel like that to either one of you guys?
Yes. Yeah. Past multiple years. It feels like, I mean, especially after the first weekend, maybe a little bit the second weekend, but that first weekend when you've got games from 11 a.m. until midnight, I mean, for 4 straight days, I mean, that just consumes you. And then
it feels like
you look up after that. I mean, what did we finish the games the other night? Finished by 6 o'clock.
Okay.
Yeah. And it's like, well, what do I do with the rest of my night?
Like, the last game kicks off at 4 o'clock.
Yeah, that's true. All right. So you guys had these 4, all 1 seeds, all in the finals. Who's going to be Nostra and who's going to be Damas here?
I don't know.
They're all 4 really, really good.
The rear. Yeah. Right? I mean, I never do this. I never have what we'll call chalk just going down my bracket and all 4 number 1 seeds in the final 4. But I felt like just towards the end of the season this year, as everything kind of played out, these 4 teams really separated themselves. I felt like going in to Final Four weekend, if Alabama could shoot the ball like they had shot it the last couple of games, they would really give Duke a game. But man, Duke just locked down on Sears, didn't let him get open and shoot whatever he wanted. And I mean, we all know the stud for Duke is just going to make things happen, and he is ridiculous.
Yeah. So we have the same Final Four. Who do you have in the Auburn Florida game?
Auburn.
Dang, me too. Okay, who do you have in the Duke Houston game?
Duke.
Dang, me too.
Duke's winning it all.
That's what I have. Yeah.
Wow.
I think, well, and especially oh my gosh, I don't know if I texted you guys this. So the big for Auburn, his name is Johnny Broom. You guys have all seen the substitute teacher skit with Key and Peele where he says the names of the students in the classroom?
Jay Quellen.
Yes, exactly. Instead of Jacqueline, it's Jay Quellen. Well, I could only think of this like Aaron,
Yeah.
But Johnny's name is pronounced Jonai. They kept saying on the he got hurt in the game, and Jonai Broom leads the game. I like her. I was like, wait a second, what? It's Johni, Johnny, but it's Jonai. And I could only picture Key and Peele skit and like him saying that, breaking a clipboard.
Was the I capitalized? That could be the trick. No?
Nope. No, it's Johnny.
Maybe it should be.
Okay, Dalton.
Right. I was like, okay, well, Jonai Broom's headed to the locker room.
Oh, Dalton.
We got Dalton and Antony over here.
Dalton. That's hilarious.
But yeah, so I think that's going to be the thing is if he did come back into the game, but on the same play, Broom hyperextended his elbow and his knee on the same fall, left the game completely, went to get x-rays. They came back negative. So he was wearing a sleeve, like an arm sleeve, but you could see it because it was white. They had an initial wrap underneath that. And he was moving very gingerly the rest of the game. So, that their medical staff is going to be better than the Oklahoma football medical staff. And these people are going to get treatment
so they're going to have Band-Aids.
Yeah.
Or at least going to have Band-Aids.
That's right.
So, that he's going to be, juiced up on something to be ready to play in the Final Four on Saturday. But if he's not healthy, that does, in my opinion, give Auburn an edge just because Auburn is just as good, or Florida, sorry. That gives them, with Alex Condon especially, just kind of that hybrid. He's a forward, he's a guard, can guard the perimeter, can guard inside. You take Broom out the game, that makes it really easy for them to guard inside. So I think that we're looking for two really good games. The Duke Houston game, I just don't know that anybody at this point in time, there's not you can scout, but you don't have a ton of time to scout. I mean, what, you're going to go back and watch every single game from the, entire season in 6 days to put a report together? You don't have time for that. That's one of the best things about the tournament. It's one game. It's not a 7-game series.
Yeah.
And yeah, sure, you could be better one time, but man, Cooper Flagg is that good. Tyrese Proctor is shooting the lights out of the basketball. I mean, he was 8 for 9 in the Sweet 16, continues that streak. It was like 12 for 17 in his last 2 games from 3. So you've got a point forward in Cooper Flagg. You've got Tyrese Proctor, who can shoot the heck out of the ball. You got Con Knipple. They asked Cooper Flagg, I don't know if you saw this, they asked him, what would you take if you were stranded on an island? He said some food, some water, and Con Knipple. Like, that's how tough he is. Like they just love what he brings to the floor. So I think Duke is deep. I think they're very, very talented, and nothing against Houston, but they will have to play their best game of the season. And it's going to have to be everybody that steps on the floor, because Duke capitalizes, they get out in transition, and they can put points up in a hurry.
Well, and Houston's style of basketball is so slow the game down, as we used to see for years with Kelvin Sampson in Oklahoma. Slow the game down. We'll win a game 42-37. We're okay with that. And Duke is really going to press that for Houston and are really going to try to get out, get those points in transition, and then get those, drive and kick points to those shooters and put Houston behind the 8 ball early. So we're going to see which style wins, if it's going to actually be Houston's style of slow down and Duke's going to have to actually run half-court offense for the majority of the time, or if Duke can get out and run a little bit, then they have a really good chance of running away with this game.
Yeah. I mean, as a team, Houston's going to shoot almost 40% on the season as a team, and so you definitely have to guard the perimeter on them, and you can't give them, second chance opportunities. So Duke's going to have to be able to limit them to 1 shot per possession for as much of the game as they can. But Duke averages more points a game at 82.4 to Houston's 72. And so Duke has a chance to get more possessions, which plays into their favor. And so I think both of these games are going to come down to good ones. This is probably the third or fourth time we're going to see an Auburn-Florida matchup. So they're probably sick of each other. How do you scout that at this point? You've played this many times. The players know each other. The coaches know each other. It's you put your best against their best and who can make more plays. So
yeah. Who's going to make more plays? Who's going to be able to control the turnovers? That's what it's going to come down to.
Yeah.
Should be fun Saturday. All right. Either one of you got like some of the sports talk morning guys got by Tiger
so tough.
Woods, all from this tweet right here. I can't believe if you're listening right now, I can't believe I'm saying this, but a few weeks after rupturing my left Achilles, the sleeping in a hyperbaric chamber plus the explosive lifts my doctors and trainers have me ready to play the Masters next week. Can't wait. See y'all on the course. Of course, all the sports guys, you went into breaking news mode, only to find out that after that he tweeted, "No, my Achilles is still trash. Happy April Fools."
Yeah, it was so funny. I was actually on my way to work when that news broke, and there's a guy in Oklahoma City radio. We'll call him Eddie Ratto, but he got, and it was great. And when they figured it out, I mean, he was like, I need the breaking news sounder. I need the breaking news sounder. I need the breaking news sounder. And the guy played the breaking news sounder, and he read that. And the production dude he's an intern, but he was in there, and he goes, it's pretty impressive, or it's pretty crazy that this news comes out on April Fool's Day. And Eddie was like, oh, you've got to be kidding me. And that, of course, everybody else on the show just busts out laughing. But yeah, several people got people that were waking up early in the morning, not thinking about it being April Fool's because they hadn't heard anything yet. Got. And so Eddie was like, his account had to get hacked. Somebody just messing with him. Like, no, you just got, bro.
So his tweets following this, first off, he quotes Tiger's tweet and says, "I believe," all caps. Immediately after, he tweets and says, "I've been laying on the floor since reading Tiger's tweet. The highs and lows are tremendous in this club." And then Tiger had a different tweet later in the day, and Eddie said, "Harvesting Achilles. I like this move." So, embarrassing for sure.
Did we find out any more about the Toby Rowland tweet?
Well, I just know that the OU ticket office was getting calls.
Yeah, no kidding. And he decided
I didn't ever hear whether it was
real or not. So Toby, I don't have the graphic for this, but Toby says, let's play 3 with weather forecast this weekend. SEC has mandated OU LSU to play a rare triple header on Thursday. All 3 games, 7 innings. First game starts at 11. Final game will be broadcast on ESPN2. Can't start before 6, and 45 minutes between games. And then is it Logan Johnson, due to phone calls and emails being received by the OU ticket office, these changes have not been confirmed, and OU athletics will make an official statement if there are any for date and time.
Well, and Toby confirmed that it was an April Fool's joke, and he did apologized. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, so I didn't see that.
Okay.
Yeah, he had another tweet later. Yeah. I don't know. I hate April Fools because of crap like that.
Yeah. It's fine if they're funny. And then there's one that we have been, not a tweet, but a story that we actually spent a lot of, about half the day yesterday, talking about whether this was some kind of April Fool's joke. If in fact it is, and we still don't know, I have yet to find the funny in this. So let's just say it's not an April Fool's joke. And unfortunately, it came out on April 1st. It has to do with Pat McAfee and something that he did on his show. I'll read this to you for those listening to the podcast today. A story by The Atlantic details an incident on Pat McAfee's ESPN show from February 26th. During the show featuring NFL insider Adam Schefter and coinciding with the NFL scouting combine, McAfee discussed a false, anonymous social media rumor that began on Yik Yak. This is where I started my investigation. What is Yik Yak? Is that thing real? And it is. It is all for college. And it only it lets you contact those or like within 5 miles around you or something like that. Anyway, it's real. The rumor alleged that an 18-year-old University of Mississippi freshman, later identified as Mary Kate Cornett, cheated on her boyfriend with her boyfriend's father. See, still no funny here. Despite Schefter's attempt to focus on NFL draft prospects Jackson Dart, McAfee and his crew continued discussing the rumor. Although McAfee did not name her, the story went viral online, including on X, where her picture was then shared, revealing her identity. Others, included 2 Barstool personalities, also allegedly spread the rumor. Now, Cornett, the girl in the photo and the victim of the rumor, has now hired legal counsel and stated her intentions to take legal action against Pat McAfee, ESPN, and potentially others involved in spreading the false story, citing the severe negative impact on her life. She had to go to like emergency housing, forced into that, she says, could only take online classes so she could stay inside. Just a whole slew of, even like her parents' house getting swatted, which is where you call in a fake kidnapping or a fake incident where the SWAT team comes out and just takes over the house because they assume that something bad is going on inside there when somebody calls. But man, what in the world is happening there? Just that story, and that happened in February is when that incident happened, just coming out on April 1st that she's intending on taking some legal action, which is probably why the story broke on April 1st. Unfortunate that it was that day that, you know, it's going to get lost in the shuffle of everything else. Maybe should have filed that lawsuit on April 2nd. But I mean, who says when you should do stuff? But it made us go through. Well, I don't know. We would talk about this. Is this real? Is this a joke? I could find no joke in there, and there's not a rim shot at the end of this.
There's nothing funny about it.
Exactly, like it was a fake person, a fake story, a fake. Which Yik Yak does sound like a fake social media, by the way. Just so you know, guys.
I agree.
So, which that just made us dig a little deeper. Maybe we should on a lot of stories, but man, it's unfortunate for the girl. I think if he didn't say her name, I don't know that there's much course of action that could really be taken against
legal course.
With Pat, but just to have this whole incident happen in the first place is just outlandish.
Yeah, that's crazy. And I'll be the first to say I love Pat McAfee, but this is something that, to me, it's like athletes using when they use their platforms to talk politics or something. That's not what your platform is.
That's not what the show is about. Yeah.
That's not what your show is about. That's not what any of this is about. And don't be spreading that quote unquote hate or whatever. Those are rumors, period.
I just think in 2025, so she did, let's say an instance that she did. Why is that banter for a show?
Yeah, why is that national news?
I have no idea. Yeah. Very odd. Very odd. Now we do need a joke to end the show because that's pretty heavy to end on. Got a good one?
All right. I got one.
Okay, let's go.
What do you call a fish with no eyes?
Dalton?
A fish.
A fish.
That's good. Good.
Nice, clean joke to end the show. Good job, Dalton.
Hey, appreciate it.
I've probably told you that before, haven't I?
No, I just I know you well enough. I had to. I don't know if you saw it. I was thinking hard. Like I'm like, all right, where's the eye at?
Oh, Ant put me on the spot now.
Yeah, I know.
Left it in my court.
It's all right.
Well, guys, have some Final Four, some national championship stuff coming up. Have lots of movement going on in the NFL, which I feel like we probably need to talk a little bit about some of that stuff that's gone on maybe next week.
Yeah,
but we'll definitely have more softball. We'll have crowned a national champion in basketball, and we have the weekend not too far around the corner. But you know what they say, right?
The weekend is good,
but the midweek is always better.
And boom goes the dynamite.